So, I've only been doing stand-up comedy for a while. And I've been doing magic a lot longer. Magic tricks, illusions, sleight of hand, whatever you want to call it. Close-up stuff, street stuff, like David Blaine would do. Or like Chris Angel would do, like on the street showing tricks and stuff. They both do stage magic now. But the early days, I was sleight of hand, there was street magic. Street magic, David Blaine really coined that term, or at least really enhanced it. Made that a thing. And so I was really inspired by both of them. I used to walk the streets and do magic. I did that a while into it. And the thing is, for the longest time, because of my religious upbringing and being raised in a very religious home, I thought that almost everything in this world was evil. Like, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. You can tell I was raised Baptist. And the very strict kind. So, I try to make excuses for my magic arts to a degree of no end. Because these companies would only help by calling it the art of deception. This is what they used to call it. Or the art of lying. And I'm sitting here going, well, thanks, this is really helping me. Having parents that don't even want me doing this in the first place. And why am I on the phone? So, since I have that kind of mentality, after a while, when I developed mental illness, after working 2 jobs back to back, like crazy, I went wild. I literally got out of the hospital. I started to get afraid of my parents. I was afraid of my parents. So I tried it, because they would lock me in a room. I thought I was in hell, so I'm like, I'll escape this out of darkness. So, I got, to the point where I walked barefoot, trying to get to where else but my church, so they'd help. But, there's a sense of community. So I'm like, they'll help me. And my pastor's cool. Even though, like I said, he was strict. But, I figured maybe he'll show me out. I don't know what I was thinking. So, I'm walking around and I'm asking people, I'm like, do you know where I can find First Baptist Church of Burbank? And I have a speech impediment, or at least I used to. I have a very hard time sometimes clarifying my words. And I'd be talking to these people that don't speak English that well. So I'm like, do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? Speaking of the movie, it's a Rush Hour reference if you haven't seen it. But I'd be literally walking the streets. Somebody comes up to me. Oh yeah, that's right. Panda Express. Haven't been there in a couple of weeks. Wisecracker. I don't know where we came up with that word. But, yeah, that's right. White Castles. Haven't been there in a couple of weeks. No wonder I'm having problems when I go to the bathroom. Should be taking my magnesium pills. Or I can just go to White Castle. Sorry for the bad isolation, or isolation. It's a word that we formed. The nurses had this for a while, but I picked up on it, so I use it now. kind of tweak the definition a little bit. But basically meaning an imagination in your head, a false thought, or a good thought, whatever. But anyways, I end up in the hospital. And my mom talks to me. My dad walks in. And I'm telling my dad, listen, Dad, I think Mom is Satan. I'm getting the weirdest thoughts. Because I grew up being a mama's boy. So to hear this come out of my mouth is like, And that's where my relationship with my dad grew a little bit. Apparently, you can't like both of your parents at the same time. These are jokes. Don't take me seriously. I love both of them. But my pastor found him. He walks in, and his eyes. And you probably think, Jay, why do you have to wipe your nose on camera? Well, like, you don't see people do that in real life. But my pastor walks in, and I don't know if it's lack of sleep or that's just the color of his eyes, but they're red. You know, like the pupils. Not the pupils, but the thing around, whatever they're called. And he's looking right at me, talking, trying to calm me down. And I'm thinking, yeah, he's definitely the devil. So nonetheless, growing up with this kind of thoughts, having mental illness, and having a very religious upbringing, when you mix those two together, it causes madness. It causes you to think on a very spiritual level with his normal people, even religious scholars, to a point of exhaustion. So that's just a warning to you. Either way you want to spin it, hey, it's up to you. I'm just getting the information out there and the science behind it. The amount of... But anyways, yeah. So that's why, for the longest time, I'm like... I literally went crazy at some point, a couple points, where I got rid of my magic stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, this is the devil, I gotta get rid of all my magic. I'm convinced. And then the next day, I'm like, I gotta get a deck of cards or else I feel naked. Speaking of drink, that stuff is delicious. I went down, I was shopping with my cousin. There was a shelf, you know, and it had naked on the juice, naked juice, and I'm like, hey, can I get naked? She does the eye roll thing. I'm like, should have done that with my second cousin. So, anyways, I had the weirdest thoughts growing up, and yeah, I mean, I had points where I'm like so convinced, no, I gotta get rid of this magic altogether. I'm starting to finally heal after all that, but it happened quite a lot in my life. And speaking of the mental illness, I've been in so many hospitals left and right. It's ridiculous, the mental institutions. Like today, I just went to the dentist, and I have to open up my big mouth to make me look bad. She's like, so, how's your week been? And the first thing that comes out of my mouth was, oh, I was just in a mental institution for going crazy. And I'm like, that really looks good on your resume. One of those moments, you know, but words come out of your mouth, and you can't like repel them back like a cord going out of your mouth and come back in. You know, it's just like, I mean, grab those and throw them in the trash can and burn them up. You know, I mean, speaking of burning that, I did that to one of my magic books, a few of them. I got rid of all my magic stuff one time because I was so convinced that it was bad and it was corrupt. One thinking, in reality, these are just tricks. They're illusions. They're not real, you know. But I got so paranoid, unfortunately, where I got a couple of magic books. I'm thinking, hey, it didn't work for us last time, or maybe it will this time. So I put it, Harry Potter, whatever. Well, scrap. I put it in the burning pile, and I set the pile on fire. And it's hilarious because it goes from a pile of books being on fire and other stuff to a whole forest in my backyard, from like here to here going in flames. And they had to grab the hose, what I'm talking about, that thing that water comes out of, to trying to spray all the fire out before it became wildfire and gets everywhere. My mom comes out. What are you doing? That's how she sounded, but she didn't sound like Joey Tribbiani from Friends. I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, I was getting rid of all my magic because it was evil. My nose. So, anyways, I ended up in the hospital one time to the point where my mind is so crazy. The first hospital I went to, they were gonna put me in one of those loony bins, those padded rooms where you're in a straitjacket, with everybody else, like a really poor hospital, because this is Chicago, so they can afford them, the straitjackets. And my mom's like, no, there's no way you're putting my son in one of those kind of crazy institutions. There's got to be a better way. So there was. They put me in, more of a prestigious kind of mental institution that they could really help and get me on the right meds instead of just, because she used to be a nursing assistant, so she has some idea of how to heal patients like this, apparently. So she's a good mother. She's been taking care of me my whole life, and my father too. But anyways, he's been getting older. He got ran over. I just did the series on this, but the tough guy, got ran over by a car not too long ago. How do you survive getting run over by a car? I mean, that's one kind of accident that you'll never forget. It's kind of like a trophy, because he had heart surgery because of it, because of the blood pressure, whatever. And the blood levels were up, I don't know. The nurse will come in, he has to lift up his shirt so they can check. It's like it's a trophy or something, like, yeah, see all this? Got run by a car. What do you do in life? Go to college? But, good parents. It's a little sad that, I'm taking care of them in my 30s, but I'm proud to do so. But really, we all work together. My mom helps figure out the bills and buys the groceries. I buy my own groceries from time to time. My dad watches the television. So that's that. But anyways, back to the hospital story. The crazy things happen. There was a point where I went so off center, so crazy, so Lulu, that they put me in a room and isolated me, where the bathroom light was turned on, and it was so hot in there, I was going the whole time thinking, okay, I'm next in line to be thrown into hell. It was horrible. But I dealt with it like a man, and I finally escaped. Apparently, I got a second chance. Now, you're probably wondering, am I still religious today? And the answer is no. I know a lot of my religious friends are going to be worried for me when I say that. I still love them. They're still family. I just don't agree with what I was taught being raised up. And, I told my mom and dad about it, and there's only so much they can do. They can just, hope for you the best. And like I said, we still live together. We get along. It's the funniest thing, though. My dad, when he gets mad, he'll walk out of the house, Let me illustrate that. I'll be making noise, and if you walk down the room, go to hell. Because I'll be making noises, early in the morning, bothering him. This is recently, but he's been doing this all his life. So I finally made a joke out of it. I'm like, where's the keys? He's like, dude, around your neck. I'm like, I can't find them. Oh yeah, they're over here by the refrigerator door. Mom has them all set just in case I need to escape. So apparently, if I ever have to get out of the house, the keys are right there. But I need to come up with an escape route. Because last time I did that, it didn't work and I got caught. But, and the thing is, you ever try to escape your house as a kid, feel like you're under oppression, and you have your suitcase all packed the night before you figure out to leave when they're sleeping. So you fall asleep on your arm and you wake up and there's no feeling in your arm. So, you're making for the door. But in all seriousness, I'm blessed to be living with my parents for now. And it's only the early period of years of my life, according to, what's that guy? Gary V. Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know what his last name is. But, he has books on entrepreneurship and stuff. That's what I'm doing. For now, until I can get myself ready for, a real job. Or this takes off in a few years. Yeah, it really looks bad on my resume, but that's what I'm doing. And some people respect it, some people think I'm crazy. But when you overwork yourself to a point where you have your mind goes so nuts, the first 5 minutes you're at another job and you quit that job 1 month later, you really have no other option but to stand in front of a camera and do stuff and hope people like it. Oh look, he makes comedy videos that sometimes magic. Subscribe. It's a very slow process. But for some reason, this ASMR thing has really been taken off. But you have to be a very attractive young woman, or even older, for it to really work. I'll tell you what, even the not so good looking ones, they create an ASMR channel. And within a month of them having the channel up, they're already getting like 13,000 subscribers on one video in an hour. But for a guy like me, it's completely different doing something that's not as popular on the YouTube. Where I've been on there for 8 years and I'm still looking at 2,000 subscribers. So that's the difference in the comparison. Maybe I just don't have this whole social networking figured out. And to be honest, it is partly my fault. Because I'm not the kind of social guy out there on social networking where I'm constantly going on my Instagram and updating people and my Twitter and my Twitch. I don't even have a Twitch. I don't even have a Twix either. The last time I had a Twix was at the store a year ago. Man, that was delicious. But anyways, back to my story from earlier. One time I was doing magic out on the streets because, like I said, I was highly inspired by David Blaine. And there's this trick called the sponge balls. The last time I did a sponge ball trick was for this homeless guy, and he thought it was the most hilarious thing. Now, I have no problem with you being homeless. Some people can't get back on their feet right away, and that happens. So my sympathy towards them. But I found out that either you're a guy that's homeless, or you have the sense of humor of a 16-year-old where you find SpongeBob jokes funny. I'll illustrate. Look, I have one of my balls here. I'm going to place it in my hand and make it disappear and come back in the pocket. Like this time, I can take my ball and split it into two. If you just chuckle there, your IQ is at like a 10. But what are you gonna do? It's fun for all ages. And I've been through some major stuff in life. Major. Like, for example, like I said to this dentist, I was just at the hospital last week recuperating because I couldn't get to sleep, for Pete's sake. I couldn't fall asleep. And my parents were so worried about me. My mom had to negotiate with me to go to the hospital. And I'm freaking out. I'm thinking I'm going to get punched again if I go to another hospital. I don't care if it's Mary Black. So, I am advertising for the hospital I went to because it's a very safe hospital. So go there if you need to get figured out. If you have mental issues or you can't sleep or whatever, you're home with bipolar, schizophrenic thing that does. But look, I tell you what. I was making deals with my mom. I'm like, okay, so she's like, we need to go there and get your meds right away. I'm like, okay, so if I go, we're getting my meds and that's it, right? And I don't have to stay there because I don't want to be punched not senselessly in my head. I could do that myself. So you don't understand. I'm gonna just go there and get your meds. But I don't have to stay there. I don't know. Fine, I'll take a chance. So, mind you, I have schizophrenia, so we're going there. And I'm hearing voices in my head haunting me on the trip. I'm like, maybe I do have to stay there for a little bit. And they trick you into staying there. They call your name. You go up, you get tested, you get questions asked. I'm like, okay. Now we're gonna have to take you to this person, and you're gonna have to answer a few more questions. At this point, I know where I am. I'm at the basement level where they throw you in with a couple other lunatics, and then eventually they send you off to the regular hospital to help you with your sleep. I'm thinking, dagnabbit, I fell for it again. But I felt like I was the only crazy one there the whole time. But then, as time went on for a day or two, I realized I wasn't. There was some lady over there writing on the walls. Just for fun. I'm like, how do we get away with stuff like this? Another thing. Some dude thought it'd be funny to turn around and pull down his pants with his boxers showing right in front of me towards the nurses. Like, what is he trying to prove? And pulling back up, and he gets away with murder. I'm like, apparently, if you're in a mental health hospital, on that kind of floor, you can do whatever you want and get away with it. I have some ideas up my sleeve, so I took a cooking knife with me to bed. For protection. And then, well, of course I'm kidding, that never happened. But speaking of protection, you ever go to a gas station and there's that paper thin layer, on the seat, and like use this for protection? I grabbed that thing, didn't know what it was exactly for, except maybe for paper cuts, in case somebody tries to rob me at night. So I get out of there, guy just goes up to me, "Hey, how you doing? I have something for sale." And I'm like, get back. Whoa, paper cut guy. Okay, I'll leave. So it works. He was selling cinnamon rolls. I'm like, dude, just so you know, you're supposed to eat that from the middle. So my life's been twisted for years. And the kind of movies, not really sort of movies, kind of. But the kind of music that I listened to my whole life and got away with, even as a really religious person, was ridiculous. Of course, for a few years, there was a cleaner alternative, like you would go to family Christian stores or something like that, and they would supply you with like what they call Christian rap or Christian metal or Christian pop. Basically, all you have to do is clean the songs up and add the word God into it every once in a while, and you're covered, okay? So I did that. Eventually, I came back to my older music. I'm like, I like this one a lot more, but I tell you, that stuff can really mess with your head. That's why I appreciate clean Christian music sometimes, just to get your mind a little bit cleaned up and renewed. And they've been making more Christian music that doesn't even emphasize God at all. Some of the younger ones do, but the older ones, they just make it clean for the sense of having a cleaner slate in your mind. But every once in a while, I need to get into Slipknot Corn or like Linkin Park or like something, or another really good one that's like Slayer, and yeah, Slayer, like that's really appropriate to listen to for any age. It's one way to get your aggression out on somebody that they don't even believe in. God hates us all. I thought you were atheist. Why? So even though I love metal, I never really understood it. That's why I hopped over to rap. Made more sense to me. But then I didn't mention Slipknot, which does kind of like rap metal, on Limp Bizkit, which they had their odds for the longest time. So I don't know why they have to get in these feuds. I think it's just for publicity, but I could be wrong. But I mean, Spit It Out, that was one of the best songs ever. And they had like a metal song with they put like rapcore on there, so it's like all on the fast, rhyming rap pace. Craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. If you've never heard the song and you're allowed to listen to stuff like that, go for it. But I tell you what, these songs will set up your whole life. I mean, for example, like I talked about in my last special, listen to songs, F this world, F them all, and then other songs like, everybody hates me now, so F this. If you listen to songs on a continual basis without any breaks, you're gonna kind of grow up like me, thinking like, everybody hates me and out to get me. That doesn't help a mental illness. So watch what you're listening to. Growing up until your mind is strong enough to take that in without being overly influenced. I'm just saying. Or else you're gonna end up in the loony bin like me, and you're gonna be putting beds against the wall. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed that. That was my by the way, I have done a lot of specials in the past that I had to take down for personal reasons. I didn't save them, unfortunately, because I don't have enough giga on my phone. But hopefully, if you're a true fan of mine, you probably saved it on your phone. I know you can do that. And if you have saved it on your phone, one of those videos, and there's a way to send that to my email through Google Drive, please do, because I like to repost that now. But hey, it's cool, whatever. Anyways,